Yes, crazy year it's been for Chris Jones. He went from holding out to winning another Super Bowl to becoming the highest paid defensive tackle in the league. How important does the Chiefs signing Chris Jones again? How important to that is to the Chiefs dynasty?
Oh, it's critical. Listen, since they've drafted Mahomes, other than quarterback, there is no position they have spent less draft capital on than D tackle. They have spent no resources on it because Chris Jones is so great, so durable, so reliable. Since drafting Mahomes, the only person other than Mahomes it's either Kelsey or Chris Jones who's been the best player over the last 6 years other than Mahomes. And Chris Jones has a case. Chris Jones, when the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl, down 10 against the Niners, Chris Jones gets a pass breakup, knocks a pass down to get the ball back to Mahomes that then allows them to, have the ball where they ran wasp and cut it to a 3-point game. The next possession, down 3, Chris Jones on second down and third down, back-to-back plays, knocks down passes where there were open receivers that gets the ball back to Mahomes, and the Chiefs take the lead and win the Super Bowl. That's Super Bowl 1. Super Bowl, the year the Chiefs lost to the Bengals in the AFC title game, Chris Jones had Joe Burrow wrapped up to win the game and didn't finish the sack. The Chiefs end up losing that game. It's the only reason they haven't been to 5 straight Super Bowls. So how did Chris respond? Last season, or I guess 2 years ago now, AFC title game, third down, 40 seconds left, 20-20. Joe Burrow trying to drive the game-winning score for the game-winning score. Chris Jones annihilates the Bengals' right tackle, gets to Burrow, sack, Chiefs kick the game-winning field goal. This year, Josh Allen, down 3, 2 minutes left, has Shakir open in the end zone. Why does he miss him? Chris Jones bullied Deion Dawkins into Josh Allen so Josh couldn't step into the throw. Super Bowl, overtime, third down. Chris Jones gets a free run at Brock Purdy, makes him throw it away. They have to settle for a field goal. Chiefs win the Super Bowl. In the playoff runs for all 3 championships, Chris Jones has made brilliant plays. In addition to that, in the regular season, he's been the most productive D tackle in football, not named Aaron Donald, and some people think Aaron Donald is the greatest defensive tackle of all time. So, you had to lock him up. You cannot, when you are, and here's the thing, he's not young, but he's not as old as people have made it seem. He's 29 years old. And does he give 100% on every snap throughout the regular season? No. But does that then allow him to show up in the fourth quarter of games and for entireties of playoff runs? Absolutely. And if you're the Chiefs, real quick, if you're the Chiefs, you have an opportunity. And this is not hyperbole. This is not Nick, overreacting. You have an opportunity this year to become the greatest team of all time. 3 straight Super Bowl victories. It's never been done. So do you pay a premium? Yes. You pay a bit of a premium. I know, speaking of the payment stuff, Demonze, you have a cap question, so go right ahead if you'd like.
Yeah, so I mean, with him being signed and being the highest defensive tackle, or highest paid defensive tackle, obviously you guys pulled a lot of resources together to get him. Are you now worried about cap space and being able to sign other players further, or give more players money, or players more money?
Sure. So they've signed no other free agents.
And could you, if you could keep the cap situation short, like the explanation, please?
Well, I'll do as best as I can.
But
I have to be fair here. I've made it very clear that any dollar you pay a player shows up on your cap at some point. So let's just do the real math of what the Chiefs are doing with Chris Jones. At first, let me give Chris some credit here. This is a great bet on yourself example. Last year, the reason Chris held out was the Chiefs offered him a 2-year extension, so that would be for next season and the year after, at $58 million, fully guaranteed. He wanted, so that's $29 million a year. He wanted $32 million a year because he wanted to be the highest paid D tackle ever. Aaron Donald's at 31.7, right? So he wanted 2 for 64, fully guaranteed. The Chiefs offered 2 for 57, fully guaranteed. They did not come to an agreement. He held out week 1. He now, I know it's being reported as 5 for 160. It's not that. I mean, it is that, but it's not that. What this is 3 years, $96 million, fully guaranteed. Really $95 million, but for simplicity of the math, call it 96. So Chris initially wanted 2 for 64 fully guaranteed. When you have the type of playoff run he did, the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, all of a sudden you get that plus another year. So Chris bet on himself and won, and the Chiefs won as well because you got a motivated ass-kicking Chris Jones. So the contract the Chiefs just signed Chris Jones, so you have to look at it like this. He is on the team for the next 3 years with every dollar fully guaranteed, $95 million. And then each of the final 2 years are essentially team options. They could cut him after year 3 or after year 4. So, the cap part of it. On this year's cap, he's going to account for $7 million. But like I told you, he accounts for $95 million of cash money received over the next 3 years. So what that means is, over the next 2 years, plus a third or fourth year if they end up cutting him after this year, you've got to account for $88 million on your cap. That's what this means. So Chris Jones is going to be $7 million on this year's cap. 95 minus 7 is $88 million. He will probably be $25 million on next year's cap. That's a big number. 88 minus 25 is $63 million. He will probably be $25 million on the following year's cap. 88 minus 25 is 63, pardon me. 63 minus 25 is $38 million. Right? He then will have, if you were to move on after 3 years, $38 million of dead money associated with his contract. You'd probably chop that up into 2 years, $20 million 1 year, $18 million the next year. So this is not typically how the Chiefs have done business. And that's why I brought up going for being the greatest team ever. This bill will come due at some point. And there will be a year, probably 2027 or 2028, when the Chiefs are not able to sign one really good player in free agency because they are dealing with the Chris Jones dead cap charge. That is worth it for this team under this circumstance, and it's worth it because the dead cap charge won't apply if Chris continues to play at this level into his 30s. So it's not the most fiscally prudent move, but he's such a great player and they're going for such a historic accomplishment. I'm glad they did it. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.